Hey, Josiah, you talk about how compassion is always proportional to how much we can prove someone is a victim. Veterans should be the easiest case. Why does society still look the other way?
Well, the good news is that veterans have been helped significantly over the last 10 years. Our country has taken a big bite out of veteran homelessness. And the result, I think, is because politicians on both sides of the political spectrum have agreed that the people who serve our country should not be homeless. It's just the bare minimum of expectation. And so there has been a concerted bipartisan effort to try to house homeless veterans. And the truth is that it works. It actually works. We have taken a big bite out of veteran homelessness. Now, we haven't solved veteran homelessness, I think, because we tend to blame people who are in the street for too long, as if we expect that they have this time frame, that they have to pull themselves up by their bootstraps in time if they get enough resources and enough investment in them. And the truth is, it doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. And a lot of veterans are coming back with post-traumatic stress disorder, and they're dealing with re-entry into society, and it's just really difficult. And so I think personally that the folks that are in the streets who have served our country are the ones that have taken too long to sort their mess out. And unfortunately, I think that's actually an indication of our broader view of homelessness in general as a society, where we get impatient with people for still needing help. And unfortunately, a lot of it has to do with stigma of mental illness. A lot of it has to do with the stigma of substance use disorder. A lot of it has to do with the perceptions we have about people who aren't productive to society from our perspective. So it's really unfortunate, because it is true. If we tend to see our compassion through the lens of whether someone deserves it or not from our point of view. And I think largely we blame homeless people for being homeless. And as a result, we don't really want to help them. And so I think it comes down to a choice of whether or not we want to help, or whether we want to believe that these people brought this on themselves. And so while I am super ecstatic, and I actually believe that what we've done with veteran homelessness, I think, is a blueprint for how we can address homelessness at large, which I believe starts by seeing people not as responsible for their situation, but as victims of a society and circumstances and trauma and pain that many of us wouldn't wish on our worst enemies. And unfortunately, that's often how we end up treating our allies and even those who serve in our armed forces, with sort of disdain and a lack of appreciation and a lack of patience. So yeah, I think it's unfortunate, but I'm simultaneously optimistic that we have a blueprint now that we can take and use to address homelessness, that we can follow that blueprint that we've applied to veteran homelessness. And we have so much more to do. And honestly, things are kind of working backwards now. There's situations where people are, the housing efforts, the investment in veteran homelessness, I'm worried that it's gonna reach the statute of limitations on our patience for them. And the next thing you know, all these services that we've been offering to get homeless veterans housed are gonna disappear. And that would just be a tragedy. So it's both great to look at what we've done with veteran homelessness, and I admit I'm fearful that we haven't learned the lessons that success could teach us about how we can eradicate homelessness once and for all.